Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Orthophilus coming to you, witches, with some amazing news only done by witches, and that is Donald J. Trump, has officially been indicted in the state of New York City. Finally, right? Donald J. Trump has been indicted in the state of New York, where I am right now. My home state of New York came through and indicted this monster. That means he has to turn himself in, he has to get a mugshot, he has to get his fingerprints done, all of that good stuff. All of that good stuff. I've just contacted several witches about this indictment. Why? Because it is witches that made this happen. It is witches, W-I-T-C-H, my bad, capital W-I-T-C-H-E-S, witches that made this indictment happen. I've been saying, if you have been following me for any length of time, I've been telling you that there would be a day of reckoning. There will be a day of justice. Why did this happen? I'll tell you why. Trump kept mentioning witch hunts. He kept giving witches power over. He kept giving witches power over him. Every time he compared his troubles to the Salem witch trials, which were really murders, he got a hex. He got a curse. He got a hex. He got a curse. Witches were responsible for him getting COVID-19 on a full moon. On a full moon, he got COVID-19 in 2020. That was the work of witches, because he kept insulting witches. He kept insulting witches. I told you this day would come. I told you, witches, no, I'm not bragging. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you to stop doubting these witches. Stop making fun of these witches. Stop thinking that witches are playthings that you can just play with and then put it back on the shelf. No, stop playing with witches. Stop comparing your problems to the Salem witch trials of witches, because then you are going to be dealt with. And we know, because I posted it on my social media platform, that there was a witch on this jury. Go back and read that post I put up. Remember, right-wingers were trying to get this juror removed from the jury because she's a witch, and she wasn't removed. It is because of Hecate, the queen of witches, that brought this man finally to justice. And yes, he is going to go to jail. He is. I'm so excited. Donald J. Trump is going to go to jail. He is. The only reason why he would not be sent to jail is because the witches that actually do support him are stronger than us. But there are more of us who oppose him than those who support him. So we have to ramp up our hexes and curses towards him. We have to. I've been telling you this since 2017, that he was not going to get away with all of these evil deeds. When COVID-19 happened, Trump is from New York. He's from Queens. He tried to put the whole pandemic on New York. Why? Because New York had the highest infection rate on the globe. That's true. New York did have the highest infection rate on the globe. He was trying to blame New York for what he chose to ignore. He chose to ignore the doctors. He chose to ignore the scientists, and he tried to put New York in a box so New Yorkers can't escape and spread the infection. And our governor threatened this massive lawsuit if he tried to box New York in so that New Yorkers could not escape. So he pulled back from that. I told you witches since 2017. Hecate has been telling you witches who have had ears to hear that there would be a day of reckoning. That there would be a day of reckoning. And today it has happened. Like I said, it would happen. Those of you who follow me, those of you who have been loyal to me these past few years, you know I was telling the truth. You know I was telling the truth. You now know that I am a real life psychic, a prophet, or whatever. And those of you who are not witches or not followers of our faith, you now know to never doubt witches again. Never doubt witches again. Never in your life, as long as you live, doubt witches again. Never doubt us. Never doubt us. When I say something, I'm telling you what's going to happen, not what could happen. It's always the truth. It's always the truth. This is just breaking news. New York made the right choice. New Yorkers made the right choice to indict this monster. This is news. I can't really get on Twitter. I think Twitter may have collapsed. It's hard to get on Twitter because there's so many people tweeting about this. So I don't know, it's just, this is big news. This is the first time a former president has been branded as a criminal and will have to, a couple days later, surrender himself and be treated like any other criminal. I said there was going to be a day of reckoning. I said there was a witch, and you saw my post about that witch being on that jury. I told you witches, the more he mentioned witches and the more he compares the Salem witch trials to his personal problems, there's going to be a hex, a curse to him. There is going to be a hex or a curse towards him. I've been telling you witches this since 2017, since he first came into office in 2017, that there was going to be a day of reckoning, and my exact words were, and I will say them again, there's nothing left to do now but watch the bloodshed. That's the truth. That sounds pretty blunt, that sounds pretty harsh, but it's the truth, and it happened today. Just like I said it would happen. Just like I said it would happen. You will never doubt witches again. It's not just me who was saying this. It was other witches, other high priestesses, other high priests, that this day of reckoning, this day of vengeance, this day of justice was going to come. I've been awfully quiet about this whole indictment thing. I haven't said anything because the Queen of Witches, Hecate, told me not to say anything, to stay silent. And it's better to be in obedience to Hecate than open your mouth and be a fool. I said it. Hecate told me to be quiet about it because I didn't want to disrupt the process. It came. And some of you might be saying, oh, well, so he paid off a prostitute, hooker, sex worker. It doesn't matter. It's how he used those funds. There are other charges that we don't know yet, but it doesn't matter. He tried to hurt my state, my home state of New York. And today is a day of reckoning. He put this entire country at risk for this pandemic that we are still currently in. Believe it or not, we are still in this pandemic. He is responsible for every single death due to COVID-19. Donald J. Trump is responsible for every death connected to COVID-19, every single death, because he knew it was coming. And when it got here, he was slow to respond. And then he tries to blame New York for all of it. Even though it's true, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I know it's true that New York had the highest infection rate on the globe. At the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't really know what this was. We thought it was maybe just a cold or the flu. And then it turned out to be, I don't think people lose their sense of smell and taste because of the flu or because of the common cold. This is something else. And he tried to blame New York. And in the election, he lost New York. New Yorkers did not vote for him in 2020. They did not vote for him. Why? Because he tried to blame New Yorkers. When I first heard that there was a juror on a jury that was a witch, I knew that was a sign from the Queen of Witches that it was a wrap, that it was all over. That it was all over. I know some of you witches might be Trump supporters. I know, I'm not stupid, I'm not naive. But you lost. Especially what Trump tried to do to the environment, what Trump tried to do to nature. You know that witches, Wiccans are very much involved in nature. Witches work with the energy found in nature to bring about real significant and permanently positive change. Listen, I know of witches that were constantly, every single day, hexing and cursing Trump. I'm talking about 24 hours. All over the globe, I know of witches who were constantly hexing and cursing Trump every single day or an hour. And today is the day of reckoning. It is. You know, when you fuck around, you find out. When you fuck around with a witch, when you fuck around with a witch, you find out. You find out the hard way. Hecate says, those who don't hear must feel. Hecate says, those who do not hear must feel. He had his chance to repent. He had his chance to get his shit together. And no, I'm not gloating. I'm not bragging that he's going to be arraigned in a couple of days. Probably tomorrow. Sometime this week, definitely. I'm not bragging. I'm not gloating. I'm telling you how powerful witches are. I'm telling you how powerful witches are, and to never doubt these witches again. That's what I'm saying to you. Don't ever doubt how powerful these witches are. And no, this is not going to increase attacks against witches. Of course, witches were doing protection spell to protect themselves while they were hexing and cursing Trump. Of course, so any attack on witches will be sent back to sender 3 times worse. You might find yourself having a car accident, being pushed in front of a train, having a heart attack, having a stroke. Witches are protected. Witches are favored and covered by the Queen of Witches, Hecate. You fucked around with a witch. You kept on talking about witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. Oh, and more witch hunts. And not realizing that you are giving real live witches power over you. Mentioning witch hunts gave witches power over Trump. And now he must kneel. He must, and he will in front of the Queen of Witches, Hecate. Today is a day of reckoning. Today is a day of justice. Today is a day of vengeance. Don't you ever doubt these witches again. Don't you ever laugh in the face of a witch, a high priest, or a high priestess like myself ever again. We are not happy about this happening. We're happy that justice has been brought to a well-known criminal. Be very careful with witches. Be very careful with witches. I've been saying since 2017 that this day was going to come. Hecate has been speaking to other witches and high priests and high priestesses that this day was going to come, and it has come at long last. It has. Justice delayed is not justice denied. So I wanted to come on here and explain why Trump was indicted. You now know why. Take it or leave it, but it's the truth. And after watching this live or watching a replay, you yourself will never doubt how powerful witches are. Never again will you mock the silent witch trials. Never again will you shout, witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt, and not be the one to actually get hunted down. So do share this broadcast on your stories, on your other social media platforms. And thank you for joining me for this pop-up live broadcast about the truth on why Trump was indicted. And with that, I release you into the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.